I had never been censored in my 9-year relationship with YouTube. You know, we're a partner there. I go to the headquarters a lot. And now I am being censored on a regular basis on multiple platforms. I'm being deplatformed. Things I always thought happened to crazy people are now happening to me. And I'm wondering if you can give me some insight on that. And are you finding some of your content has also been censored? I know you've been in the, you know, in the kind of investigative vaccine movement for years. So I'm guessing this happens to you on a regular basis.
Well, I mean, this actually is what catapulted me into any sort of fame or any recognition that I have, because the documentary I made, Vaxxed, From Cover Up to Catastrophe, about the whistleblower, Dr. William Thompson at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, we were in Tribeca Film Festival, and we were censored out of the festival. We were kicked out of one of the leading festivals, film festivals in the world, which made mainstream press all over this country and really around the world, and catapulted Vaxxed into, you know, cult stardom for sure, if you want to sort of look at it that way. We're actually now in the National Archives of films because of it. So I started, as soon as I stepped onto the landmine of this discussion on vaccines, I've been being censored. It's something that I've learned to work with and actually work as best as I can, use it to my advantage, use it as a calling card. And that's what moved Vaxxed along. And then, of course, you know, we had Adam Schiff, who's a representative here in America, reach out to all of the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and say, you need to start censoring, remove any posts from people that are questioning the safety of vaccines or talking about how to heal children of autism and things that people connect with vaccines. And then, of course, he specifically reached out to Jeff Bezos at Amazon. We had a deal with Amazon where anyone on Amazon Prime was going to be able to watch Vaxxed for free till the end of time. And the next day, it was pulled off of Amazon. So you can't even get to the documentary I made unless you go to the website of the distributor, which is vaxxedthemovie.com, if anyone is interested. But those are scary things here in the United States of America. I mean, to me, that's modern day book burning. That's censorship. These are things that we only read about in history books that happened in countries that didn't believe in freedom. And now it's becoming an accepted discussion. And as I'm sure you're well aware, just a couple of weeks ago, the head of YouTube said, we will be censoring anything when it comes to COVID-19 that does not agree with the WHO. I think that's a shocking statement coming out of a U.S. company, because the WHO is not a U.S. organization. It's a foreign agency of foreign bodies. So to say that we're going to adhere to what they say, and obviously your own president, our own president, Donald Trump, has defunded the WHO. So to really have companies in America saying we're going to censor and potentially go against the president of the United States, who just a few days ago has now reported that by executive order, he is beginning an investigation into censorship taking place. Now, most of that, I think, is politically based, because Twitter went out and basically fact-checked something he said. So I've seen all of that. I have my YouTube. I do a show every Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. 2 weeks ago, our entire episode was pulled down off of YouTube. You cannot get to it with no explanation whatsoever. I have several videos I put out, including internal videos from inside the World Health Organization, a meeting that took place in December. I simply posted that chief head scientist of the WHO doing basically a propaganda piece for the WHO, saying vaccines were safe and had a very robust surveillance system. And then 3 days later, she's in a conference in Switzerland, and she says the exact opposite. We do not have a robust surveillance system. We really don't know how safe or dangerous vaccines are. And so I put those two videos together, and I got a false information flag across it. I actually pressed a lawsuit against the fact checkers on that. A couple of weeks ago, I said, if you don't take this down in 7 days, I'm going to sue you for defamation. And they have lifted that false flag off of that false information off of it.
Was that on Twitter, or was that on,
fighting my way through here?
And was that on Facebook, the false information, or on Twitter?
It was on Facebook, correct.
Facebook.
So Facebook is funding primarily. This was Lead Stories was the fact checker. In this case, there are several of them. Lead Stories describes that it is fully funded by Facebook. So essentially, it's an arm of Facebook, but how they are legally protected in that relationship, we'll really only understand that if they decide to stand up and fight us in court. This time they back down. But really, you know, and who are these fact checkers? There's fact checkers. We had on a world-renowned scientist named Dolores Cahill. She spoke, you know, freely her truth, and now the video we put out of that has been censored and flagged by Facebook by a bunch of fact checkers. If you saw Dolores Cahill's CV, we actually made a joke out of it with Star Wars music. It is so long and profound. I wonder, what are the credentials of the fact checkers? And are we now in a position, Brian, where as interviewers, I am responsible for what my interviewees are saying? The entire purpose of interviewing is to let someone speak their truth. Sometimes I challenge it. I bring on people from all different walks of life so that people can see their perspective. You can certainly investigate them yourselves. But when have we, isn't investigative journalism sort of allowing people to tell their truth, asking them hard questions? Now all of a sudden you're censoring what one of my guests said and censoring my show. Those are scary, scary, this is a scary time when you think of freedom and freedom of speech. And I always joke, you know, now Woodward and Bernstein would be censored. We would say, we asked Richard Nixon, you know, whether or not he had tapped phones. Richard Nixon's office said no. Therefore, this is a conspiracy theory and not allowed on YouTube or Facebook or to be broadcast. I mean, really, if you're a journalist or you're an investigative reporter, everything is a conspiracy theory until you prove it to be true. So any investigations, and the way we get to the bottom of it is we start writing articles. We start doing an investigation in front of the public and try to get other reporters and investigators to get on board and start helping with that process. Very heavy lifts when it comes to government agencies. For instance, the fact that I'm often up against the CDC. I've won lawsuits, by the way, with my nonprofit against the CDC, the NIH, FDA, and Health and Human Services, all because these are really important issues that we're working on. But I have fact checkers saying that's not a true claim. If you go to the CDC website, it says this. Well, why do you think I'm suing the CDC? Because they're not telling the truth. If we're just going to side with government agencies, then I don't believe we're doing the job we're supposed to be doing as reporters or actual fact checkers.